I've been spending hours in Hollow Zero figuring stuff out, and there is a lot of hidden stuff in this game mode. Anything from hidden commissions, characters having special encounters giving nice rewards, how to get research rewards really fast, which is great for Dennies and polychromes, and even a hidden cap on Hollow Zero, limiting your weekly rewards. I have also beaten Nineveh recently on the hardest difficulty, 11 out of 11, as a full free-to-play player, so I will be giving tips about the really difficult endgame levels too. Let's start with the hidden encounters for characters in Hollow Zero. There is a lot of different encounters in Hollow Zero, and it turns out that each character has a special dialogue that triggers on a specific encounter, which the game doesn't tell you about, and I don't see anyone talking about it. I've realized this while I was doing 11 out of 11 Withering Garden, and my Julian just gave me a full HP restore for the whole team just before I got to Nineveh. This was huge and it made it winnable for me to clear the hardest difficulty. So the only way to figure out each character's special encounter was by testing it, and that is exactly what I did. Let's start with the A rank characters. First, we have Anby. Anby's special encounter triggers with the Public Security Squad. When you land on here with Anby in your squad, she will trigger a special dialogue, giving you 1 A rank or S rank Resonium. In this case, we got a S rank. Nicole's special encounter triggers on a passage. This will give you about 2000 gear coins. For Corin, you get 1 S rank Resonium from the Pie in the Sky encounter, which the event is called Ambushed. For Lucy, you get 1400 gear coins when landing on the Dilapidated House. For Piper, it is also the same, you get 1400 gear coins landing on the Dilapidated House. To trigger Billy's special encounter, you need the Strange Goods or Vending Machine encounter, and he gives you a rare bamboo plugin, which can be any item like the full HP restore item or a pressure reduction spray. For Sokaku, you get 1400 coins from the Dilapidated House encounter. For Anton and Ben, you need the HIA Depot encounter, and this will give you better rates and reward choices. That's all the A ranks. Next we have the S rank characters. For Rina's special encounter, you need a Pie in the Sky encounter, and she gives you 1 S rank Resonium. For Julian, you need the Strange Goods or Vending Machine encounter to get a rare bamboo plugin. This can be any item like I mentioned earlier, which is like a full HP restore item or pressure reduction spray. For Soldier 11, I tried everything, but I just can't figure out her special encounter. I thought it would be the Defense Force Logistics Hub encounter, but this wasn't the case, and maybe she doesn't have one yet, since you can't even get her max trust level yet. Also, I am full free to play when I made this video, so it goes without saying that I don't have all the S rank characters to test the rest out. So the best I can do is make a pinned comment on all the other S rank agents after someone tells me in the comments section down below what Coletta, Grace, Nekomata, Lycaon and Ellen's special encounters are. I would highly appreciate it. The next hidden thing in Hollow Zero is commissions that you can unlock from Hollow Zero. When you speak to Ray in Scott's Outpost, there is a tab called Lost Items from the Old Capital. Under this tab, you will have different items to collect from Hollow Zero. You will find these items from hidden places or sometimes even in general from different weird NPCs called the Weird Detective, Weird Scavenger or Weird Girl. After doing their mission, you will get an item, and once you have collected all of these items, you will get a commission to complete outside of Hollow Zero that gives Internaut XP and some other rewards. But while you're on the lookout for these weird NPCs, be careful because sometimes they are quite hidden and spawns outside of the map with an almost invisible bamboo that looks like this. Once you get closer to this bamboo, you will be able to see them. You also get some pretty nice rewards like a lot of Dennies and some polychromes from Ray the NPC for research progress from Hollow Zero. There is actually a pretty easy way to complete these. You can enter Hollow Zero, and whenever you see something labeled as new, you can just take it and leave. And this will count towards the research progress, so you don't have to complete a whole Hollow Zero run for this. The research progress counts for new Razonia you find, new corruption, new special areas from these encounters, the lost items I just talked about, and also some challenges you have to do on the last tab here. But that's not the only way to farm a pretty good amount of Dennies and some other rewards from Hollow Zero. You can also farm a lot of Z merits and buy all of these great rewards from this merchant. The best thing about it is unlimited Dennies, which is great, or so I thought. Unfortunately, there is a hidden limit to the amount of Z merits you can farm per week. These regular rewards you see here all has hidden limits too. This resets every week, and for the limits I didn't keep track of it, but I found a website that seems to have, and I hope it is accurate, and it looks like this. This is for the general rewards after completing a Hollow Zero floor, so make sure you farm the correct withered crystals for your upgrades, and if you need Dennies, instead of using battery charge you can also use this as an option if you have time to farm for a bit. Alright, let's talk about all the biggest tips I can think of to beat Nineveh when you get stuck on a difficult level, and especially on the highest difficulty. Now I will say that I struggled for hours and hours practicing before I could beat Nineveh on the highest difficulty, and it takes a lot of time to kill the bosses, but there really are some game-changing things you can do to make it easier to beat these bosses. The first recommendation I want to give is to increase the chance of finding Dodge Razonia in your Hollow Zero run. There is a pretty big reason for this. There is a Dodge Razonia called Shuttlecock, and what it does is when you trigger a perfect dodge, you will enter Vital View for 4 seconds. And what this does is it makes your characters invulnerable, and you enter a slow motion effect where you can attack the enemy without any worry of taking damage. It has a 10-second cooldown, which isn't too long, and it really is a game changer. Now there is other really good Razonia out there too, and in the end you should always choose whatever works for you, but this Razonia really helps you in surviving the long endgame fights. The next thing you really want is whoever is your carry or damage dealer, you need to try to have this character's trust level above level 3. You will get a special buff from the safe spots in this case, and every character gets a different buff from their mindscape. For Ju Yun, I get 3 reloads after I empty my gun, so that is a great damage booster if you don't have any copies of a character. You also get a bonus for Ju Yun, where all traps like increased corruption gets disabled on that specific floor, so it is really helpful, and each character has their own bonuses here. Also make sure your combat configuration passives are close to maxed out or even maxed out. The numbers might seem small, but some of these passives are quite big, giving you a healing item at the start or a better chance of getting discounts at the bamboo merchants. Just remember that your withered crystals are capped weekly, so make sure to do the Hollow Zero levels that you need to for these upgrades if that is your priority. When you enter Withering Garden, you will get 3 choices for buffs. The first one is when pressure overload happens, it heals and increases your damage. The second one is when you spend gear coins, you deal more damage, and the third one, for every 1% HP lost, you gain 1% damage. I personally don't like the first choice since I think it is too hard to trigger, but the other two is pretty good, and I use the gear coin one personally. Once you have chosen this, you will encounter an NPC asking you what buff you want between another 3 choices: pressure reduction, more gear coins obtained, or more healing outside of combat. I picked the gear coins one because it will help me with getting more damage from the previous passive I just picked. You also then have 3 debuffs that you have to choose between: more pressure for each movement, stores are 15% more expensive, or your HP is capped at 80%. Again, I picked the gear coins one because I see it as a type of synergy since I am using nickel, which gives me a little bit more gear coins. But honestly, I think you just have to make a plan here with what works well together with your team and playstyle to make it work. Another tip I would like to give you is to always check resistances and try to make a plan around it with your teams if possible. There is a lot of physical resistance enemies in Withering Garden as an example, and some fire resistance enemies too. As for weaknesses, there is Ether, Ice and Electric, so if you have a good damage dealer between those, I would recommend you trying them out here, especially Ether and Ice damage. Also try to avoid getting max pressure because it will reduce your whole team's HP to 1, and you will get a huge corruption debuff making the last boss, Nineveh, way stronger. If you do get this corruption debuff, you can still remove it with encounters, so don't give up all hope yet. If you have done all of these and you are still stuck, I'd recommend waiting until you get your characters to level 60 with Internaut level 50 and see if it gets a bit easier from there, or when a new character's banner gets released that you want to pull for that could potentially carry you in the game like Ju Yun did for me. Peace out.